By now you've heard that the customer experience is what the McNichols Company is all about. For over 6 decades, we've been committed to service, quality, and performance, and as a result, tens of thousands of customers have learned to really rely on the McNichols Company. But customer service is universal, isn't it? You can tell when you're in a business that really is committed to customer service. And like most businesses, we've got 10 secrets, or you might even call them 10 commandments, to what real effective customer service is. And here's the smart thing about customer service. It's not complicated. It's not complex. It's actually universal. I'm holding a card. You may have seen this card already. If not, you will soon. And here at the McNichols Company, it's the 10 commandments of superior customer service and retention. Let's take a moment and review these 10. It's the sort of document that you don't put it on the wall and forget it. It's not something that you pass and don't even notice. You want to keep this close to you. You want to pull this out. Maybe you've seen musicians or athletes pull out a sheet of paper that's either showing them the notes, reminding them of something. Well, that's what this is. It keeps top of mind every day that how we treat the customer is what we're all about. After all, we are inspired to serve. So the first secret or commandment of superior customer service is simply this: the customer is the most important person in the company. It's true, they really are. Now at the McNichols Company, we also believe that the associates are equally important. Hopefully by now you've already begun to experience that whomever you report to, whether it's a sales manager, a general manager, or anyone else in the company, you sense that you're being treated not only with great respect and dignity, but with real appreciation. In fact, how we treat our associates will determine how they treat customers. So that first commandment's important. Customers are the most important person, so it's important that we treat our colleagues and everyone well, so that that'll be the customer experience people have. The second commandment reads, the customer is not dependent on you. You are dependent on the customer. You work for the customer. It really is true. The customer is the one writing a check, sending that check, or making that electronic transaction that puts money into the McNichols Company accounts so that we can pay our vendors, pay our expenses, and pay our associates. And so that's why number 2 is so important. We're dependent upon our customers. When we have a growing customer base, we have a growing company. When we have a shrinking customer base, then we have a company that's having to restrict itself, having to retract itself back. And that's why the customer is someone that we are completely dependent upon. Number 3, the customer is not an interruption of your work. The customer is the purpose of your work. Have you ever gone to a retail establishment? You walk in the door and there are 2 or 3 employees there, no other customers, you're the only one in the store, but they're talking to each other. They're distracted. They didn't even hear you come in. They've not noticed that you're there. And you almost get that feeling like you're interrupting them. Well, whether we're on the phone to the customer, whether we're emailing a customer, whether we're at the dock meeting a customer, or maybe if we're in the customer's place of business, we never want them to sense that they are an interruption. To the contrary, we've been waiting for them. We have anticipated the chance to serve them. And that's why this third commandment is so important. The customer is never an interruption of our work. Number 4, the customer does us a favor by visiting or calling our business or emailing us. We're not doing the customer a favor by serving them. If someone is benefiting from a customer interaction, it's us. And that's why at the McNichols Company, in your training program, in the way you'll be managed, we talk a lot about an inspiration. We talk about being inspired to serve. We talk about pillars that are important. And all of these point to the customer experience, where we're sensing that value that the customer knows is so important because the customer is favoring us by choosing the McNichols Company. Commandment or secret number 5, the customer is as much a part of our business as anything else, including inventory, employees, and even our facilities. If we sold the business, and we don't plan to, but if we did, the customers would go with it. Commandment or secret number 6, the customer is not a cold statistic. Now we talk about the number of inquiries, we talk about our success ratio, and that's how we manage the business. But we never want to sense that the customer is a statistic. Instead, the customer is a person with feelings and emotions, just like you and just like me. We really want to treat the customer better than we would expect to be treated. That's where Inspired to Serve comes from. When that kind of customer experience occurs, not only is that customer coming back, not only are they calling us again, they're telling others. And that organic growth is what has been behind the secret of over 6 decades of success by the McNichols Company. Number 7 is important. The customer is not someone to argue with or match wits with. Have you ever been on the phone with a company you do business with, maybe in your home, and you find that the technician or customer service or the help desk on the other end is arguing with you? They're trying to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. Do you sense inside frustration when that occurs? Of course you do. Now, I'm not saying the customer isn't wrong. I'm not suggesting that you might not have a better answer. You might probably will understand the situation better than they do. But that's not the secret to a successful business interaction. They're not someone to argue with, not someone to match wits with. Commandment or secret number 8. It is our job, your job, to satisfy the needs, the wants, and the expectations of customers whenever possible, and also resolving their fears and complaints. Now, in your training to be a sales professional in McNichols, you've been introduced to the notion of discovery, really finding out, why is this customer calling us? What do they want? What do they really need? What are their expectations? And sometimes those three are not the same. That's another secret to our sales success, because so many times a customer will call the McNichols company and they're not really sure of what they want. They've got an application in mind, but they're not really sure how it fits. That's why your training as a sales professional is so extensive. That's why your product knowledge is so important. Commandment or secret number 9. The customer deserves the most attentive, courteous, and professional treatment you can provide. Imagine when you see the phone light up and you've got a call to take, that you kind of get yourself ready, and it's kind of like that first shot in the basketball game, the first shot off the first tee, the first note you play in the orchestra. You're ready and you're on. You're giving them the most professional and respectful treatment possible. And then commandment or secret number 10 is really no secret. The customer is the lifeblood of your business. Always remember that without that phone ringing, without those emails coming in, without customers on the website, without customers talking to our FSMs, we wouldn't have a business. We're not in the steel products business. We love our whole products. We love to be known by that, but that's really not the business we're in. We're in the business of meeting customers' expectations. Several years ago, I was facilitating a focus group in Dallas, Texas of McNichols Company customers. And one of the questions I asked them, is there anything that we're not selling or providing that you would like for us to? And I'll never forget the response of one of those customers. He quickly raised his hand and he volunteered, I wished I could buy everything from you. And he laughed. He said, right down to the toilet paper we use. Because he said, my experience with McNichols is always so pleasant. Well, that's the kind of customer we're looking for. And quite frankly, that's the kind of sales professional we want you to become, so that that customer has a sense that no matter what it is, if it's a complaint that I need resolved, if it's a product application I can't figure out, if it's something that I'm just not quite sure, I'm going to call McNichols. Because after all, at the McNichols Company, we are inspired to serve.